From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, August 23rd. Another hot and humid day might add a few more degrees onto those temperature highs than what we even saw over the weekend. So it looks like highs will be in the 90s today. And Southeast Street near Thompson Road is where two people were shot early this morning. Police told us both were awake and breathing. A car that was there at the scene was riddled with bullets. It was roped off in the parking lot of the Travel Inn in that area. Indiana State Police have taken over the investigation, so it is possible that the ordeal could have started on the interstate. The scene is right off of 465 there on the south side. And for the eighth time in almost a month, a child has been shot in Indianapolis. The latest shooting happened on the east side last night off 10th and German Church Road. Reaction from the leader of the Indy 10-Point Coalition, Charles Harrison, tweeted, "We're in a bad place when our children are not even safe from this surging senseless violence." Police say the girl was shot in the neck. The severity of her injuries isn't clear, but at last check, police tell us she is stable at Riley Hospital for Children. We don't know her age. IMPD just says that the shooting happened at the Washington Point Apartments near 10th Street and German Church Road. It was after 8 last night. We've asked police for an update, but right now they haven't given any suspect information or any details of what may have led up to the shooting. IMPD did say that this is the 8th child hurt in a shooting in just over 3 weeks, and these are tough situations for officers to deal with.
Hard for the officers because many of them have children themselves, or they have other family members that are children, and so it affects them immensely because we're dealing with an innocent victim here. Can't stress enough that violence is not the answer. Using a gun like that is not the answer. But many people do, and then unfortunately this is what happens. Somebody that is innocent gets injured.
India is not alone in the disturbing violent trend. According to the Gun Violence Archive, so far in 2021, 3,654 kids and teens 17 years old or younger have been injured or killed after being shot in the United States. Police here in Indianapolis say it's frustrating that more and more children are being caught in the middle of the city's growing violence. Now, officers are trying to track down the shooter. In this case, they need the public's help. Anyone with information is asked to call IMPD's homicide office. And we're getting details of the fight over a police officer's gun that ended with the officer and another person in the hospital. It happened on the southeast side of the city early Sunday morning. IMPD says the officer was sent to check on a man who lunged at the officer and grabbed for his gun. At some point, the gun went off. IMPD says the bullet hit the man in the finger and the officer in the leg, and that both will recover. The suspect now faces several preliminary charges. 2 people are dead after a wrong-way crash on I-69 near Anderson. It happened just after 4 Sunday morning. Police say a car was going the wrong direction in the southbound lane and hit another car, killing both drivers. Authorities have not yet released the names of the people killed or any theory about why the first driver was going the wrong way. And today, a pivotal point in the COVID-19 fight. The FDA is expected to give the green light for Pfizer's vaccine. That's according to the New York Times. Pfizer will become the first coronavirus vaccine to get full approval. The U.S. Surgeon General says he hopes this move will be the final push to get those on the fence to get the shot.
I also think that for businesses and universities that have been thinking about putting vaccine requirements in place in order to create safer spaces for people to work and learn, I think that this move from the FDA when it comes will actually help them to move forward with those kind of plans.
The Times also reports that full approval for Moderna could come in the next several weeks. Jesse Jackson and his wife Jacqueline are in a Chicago hospital with COVID-19. The 79-year-old civil rights leader received the Pfizer vaccine in January in a public event to urge others to get the shot. One of their sons tells the Associated Press that his parents are responding positively to treatment. The German military says a firefight broke out at Afghanistan's main airport in Kabul this morning. It says 1 Afghan security officer was killed and 3 more wounded. According to the German military, U.S. and German forces got involved. This comes after 7 Afghans were killed trying to enter the airport yesterday.
It would have been true if we had started a month ago or a month from now. There is no way to evacuate this many people without pain and loss of heartbreaking images you see on television. It's just a fact. My heart aches for those people you see.
President Biden says nearly 28,000 people have been evacuated. Britt Conway reports on the chaos at the capital's airport.
We're heartbroken for our country.
Desperation in Kabul. More than 20,000 people in and around the capital's airport waiting in the blistering heat for the chance at a flight out. The ones who make it through the gates are exhausted and scared, but they're the lucky ones. They've made it past the Taliban checkpoints and security guards.
I've been waiting for 2 days, yesterday since 3 a.m.
Not everyone is so lucky.
Those who are stuck here, we're really heartbroken. Our heart bleeds for them.
With the Taliban in control, it's still far from certain U.S. citizens, Afghan translators, and others who worked with U.S. forces will be able to get out.
They're definitely going to leave people behind. Let's be clear. This evacuation is the people who could make it to Kabul, and we're already there to begin with.
If we're leaving by the 31st, we will not get out all the Americans we need to. And we absolutely won't get out all of our allies who've served with us for 20 years.
President Joe Biden says he remains determined to evacuate American citizens and Afghan allies. He says there are discussions about extending the August 31st deadline. And 2 U.S. defense officials say the U.S. military is establishing alternative routes to the Kabul airport because of a threat from a self-proclaimed branch of ISIS and possibly other groups. The White House says G7 leaders will hold a virtual meeting on Tuesday to talk about how to coordinate an approach to the crisis. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
President Biden is losing the approval of some Americans, according to 2 new polls. The CBS poll was taken between August 18th and 20th. It's an even 50-50 split of polled Americans who approve and disapprove of the way Biden is handling his job as president. If you break that down further, 23% strongly approve, 27% somewhat approve, 14% somewhat disapprove, and 36% strongly disapprove. A second new poll from NBC among all adults finds that 49% approve of the job Biden is doing as president on August 21st. That's compared to 53% of adults on April 21st. And this morning, Vice President Kamala Harris will meet with Singapore's president. She's kicking off a visit to Southeast Asia to strengthen connections with key allies in the area. The White House says the trip is also focused on counterbalancing China's growing influence. Later this week, the vice president will head to Vietnam to meet with its prime minister.
And while New Englanders are used to dealing with some tough weather, this storm has the potential for widespread consequences across the region.
A slow-moving tropical depression is battering the Northeast. According to the National Hurricane Center, Henri's rain could cause flooding. New England, New York, New Jersey, and parts of Pennsylvania are in the path. The storm has already left damage in Massachusetts, and one man living in Connecticut explains how he prepared for Henri's arrival.
We hunkered down, put all the stuff that, couldn't blow away. We put it away. And my main concern was my boat. We tied it up nice for the storm.
This morning, power is out for more than 57,000 people in Rhode Island and Connecticut. Henri made landfall as a tropical storm yesterday afternoon in the town of Westerly, Rhode Island. And dozens of people are missing in severe flooding that has already claimed 22 lives in Tennessee. There are pictures coming out of Humphreys County that water is just taking over properties, covering vehicles, and walls are ripped from buildings. Marissa Sulik reports the latest on the damage.
We can still cross it, right? For 50 years, Carrollton House has been a jewelry store the community of Waverly has supported. Now, one day after deadly flash floods hit the area, the community is showing that support.
Every showcase was upside down.
Owner Renee Muha says $500,000 worth of jewelry and clothing was gone in seconds.
We checked on it at 9, we checked on it at 10. And at 11, it just exploded out of the banks. It just kept coming. This is how high the water got. So I'm 5'5", so I don't know what that is.
And this Waterford crystal case shows the damage. The bottom 3 shelves full of dirt, the top 2 crystal clear.
Of course, we got an influx of claims.
Right next door, insurance agent Lynn Paschal says they already have 50 claims for those with flood insurance. But since his office isn't on a floodplain, that's not something Lynn thought twice about.
I don't have flood insurance. Didn't think I needed it, just like a lot of the residents here in town.
It was probably about 10 foot in there. It was over the doors.
And on the other side of the plaza, Terrence Chrisman says he and his employees had to climb on top of this office wall in the grocery store where they stayed for 4 hours.
As crazy as it sounds, I think being in there was the safest bet.
We found lots of diamonds and lots of jewelry in the mud.
While these businesses are these owners' livelihood, they know it could have been far worse.
This is brick and mortar, but they lost a lot more.
That was Marissa Sulik reporting. Local emergency officials call the flooding the worst disaster in the area's history. And police in Texas are trying to find the killer of a police officer. The officer from New Orleans was off duty in Houston. Investigators say Everett Briscoe was with a group having dinner on a patio when 2 people walked up, robbed them, and shot Briscoe and another person. The lieutenant of the New Orleans Police Department was clearly emotional, confirming the news.
You know, as a chief, you try to prepare yourself for that dark day in which you may have to, which we never would want to see, have to inform a family of the loss of their loved one in the line of duty due to senseless violence.
Police say the second person shot is in critical condition. And there is a campaign calling for more smoke-free places in Indiana. The American Lung Association wants to protect people working and visiting places exempt from the current statewide law on smoking areas. Some businesses can still allow smoking, like bars, casinos, and private clubs. The association says that exposes thousands of people to secondhand smoke at work. This morning, it announced results of a survey showing 70% of people in Indiana support making public places smoke-free. And all eyes are on Westfield. In just a few hours, quarterback Carson Wentz will be back on the field. The team announced yesterday that he'll be returning to practice for the final week of training camp. Head coach Frank Reich says Wentz will be participating in a limited capacity.
He looks good, and I'm actually glad you asked that as well. You'll see him out there, you're going to see him out there on the practice field this week. He'll be out there tomorrow.
We are expecting to hear from Wentz. He will have a live report on the news at midday on Wish TV. Now, the quarterback's return comes ahead of schedule exactly 3 weeks after his foot surgery. And according to the Horseshoe, guard Quentin Nelson and center Ryan Kelly will also be back at practice today. It is still unclear, though, if Wentz will be ready to go week 1. That means the team could be looking to its backups. Both Sam Ehlinger and Jacob Eason struggled some during Saturday night's preseason game against the Vikings. Ehlinger threw 2 interceptions in 1 quarter. Eason completed less than 60% of his passes. Coach Reich says he needs to see more before naming a starter and backup option for the final preseason game in Detroit.
We've got a lot of information. Like you said, it's all the practices. It's all the meetings. It's all the discussions. It's all the side conversations, all those things. And there's so much positive. You got 2 young quarterbacks that we've drafted that we feel like have good upside and proven that they know how to play winning football. So we want to factor everything in here. I think both guys are in the same zip code. They have different styles of play. They have different strengths and weaknesses, but I think they're both good players.
The first game of the season is September 12th when the Seattle Seahawks visit Lucas Oil Stadium. And today is the start of a citywide dining experience. Devour Indy Summerfest is back, offering special menus at discounted prices. It is so much fun to use this as an excuse to explore all the awesome restaurants Indianapolis offers. There are 21 participating restaurants. That is a record-breaking year for the Devour. Diners can make a donation to the Indiana Hospitality Relief Fund to help out-of-work Hoosiers who've been affected by COVID. Devour Indy Summerfest starts today, lasts through September 5th. We have all of the participating restaurants and menus on wishtv.com. And business headlines, T-Mobile confirms 5.3 million more customers had their information stolen in a data breach. 2 class action lawsuits were filed against the wireless carrier as customers seek compensation. Both lawsuits say the carrier violated the law protecting customers. Over 53 million T-Mobile customers have been affected by the cybersecurity attack. United Airlines is teaming up with Walmart and Albertsons on COVID testing. More than 3,000 Albertsons and Walmart locations are participating. Customers going online to United's Travel Ready Center can view a list of local COVID testing sites that now include selected Albertsons and Walmart stores. Then they can book the appointment through the United website or app. Flights nationwide could be disrupted today after Hurricane Henri swept through the Northeast over the weekend. Nearly 27% of the world's flight cancellations have come from airports in Boston and the New York metropolitan area. New data says Corona is the world's favorite beer. Maxima Kitchen Equipment, a UK brand, has analyzed Google search data from the past month to determine the most searched beers. It says Corona was searched 115,000 times in a month. Sapporo from Japan was second. And a Swedish firm announced it has delivered carbon-free steel to a customer. It's a huge step in the race to clean up one of the most carbon-intensive activities on Earth. Making steel is notoriously difficult to decarbonize. The majority of production relies on coal. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.